we can change our default color here, and you'll see as I move the color around, this little sliver of light changes. But this is just letting us have a bigger view of what our color looks like rather than just being in the general vicinity on the color wheel. And if that's not big enough, you can click the expand options button here, and then we can see our foreground and background colors, which we can also set here. So say we wanted this one to be, I don't know, black, and then the other one, well, we would keep that as white, I suppose. We can press C to change these back and forth, since in Zero Brush we use X to control our radius, or you can use F also, but I use X. You can switch that manually, or we can press C to switch that. And so we can increase the darkness and brightness of our color with this slider here. We can save our colors in this little palette here by pressing the plus sign. So say I wanted to make a selection of reds, I might hit the minus sign and delete these palettes here already and bring this down pretty dark, and press the plus sign, bring this up a little lighter, press the plus sign again, and then bring it up really light, and then so I have this kind of little palette of reds that I wanted to stay consistent with. So you can actually make a whole library of palettes if you want. So if we click our expand options button, we have the palette control here. You can select the palette on this little color wheel icon with the arrows. So right now we just have this default generic palette, so it's just called palette. We could click it and rename it reds and hit enter. And then if we wanted to make another one, we could press the plus sign here, and you'll see now we don't have any there, but it defaults to that. So if we click here, we see we've got the reds, and now we've got our new one, and we could say call this one greens, and then pretty much do the same thing or whatever we wanted to do. And so we have these 3 or 4 shades of greens or whatever, and then we can switch back between these whenever we need them. If you save your file, you go to File and Save. These palettes will save with your file, but they won't be available when you open up a new Blender file. If you want them to be available, just open up a new Blender file, click on the default cube, press the Zero Brush Texture Paint button, come down here and make all your palettes, and then I would go back into object mode. I would actually delete the object you were working on to create the palettes, and then press Shift-A to re-add the default cube, or if you prefer not to have anything in your scene when you start up, just leave it blank, and then go to File and Save Startup File, and then the next time that you open up Blender and click your Texture Paint button, you will have at your disposal your nice set of color palettes.